Hi there, Joker here, and today I have two cards for you that I've created with a super cool new Spellbinders product that is called Color Block Slices. These are the products. They look really simple, but they are really great. You can get really great results with them, really cool designs. You will see in a second. So I decided to go with a rainbow color scheme, and I'm creating panels for my background that I'm going to use for, just to add these slices on. And that's going to be my front panel for the cards. So I'm going through all these colors and just die cut these pieces from them. And for these two cards, I only used the smaller size slice. And I die cut one from each color, and some of them actually are not full size because I didn't want to waste the cardstock if I didn't have the whole length. I knew that I wasn't gonna use the whole length, so it's okay, like this one for instance. And after die cutting all of them, everything goes really quickly, even the die cutting part, and then arranging them, everything is really fast. And you can create, there's no limit to what you can create with these, but I just decided to do a like a sunburst kind of design that goes from one side. And now I'm trying to figure out where I have to place the middle one so that I end up using all the colors and I have enough of the last color as well. So once I figured that out, I think it took 3 tries. This is the last one. I'm going to go ahead and put down glue onto the background or this white panel, and then I'll just quickly add those slices. I just used my ATG for this and covered the whole panel. That way it goes really fast. With liquid glue it would be a bit, not just that it's slower, but the paper would warp as well. So I found that this is the best way to go for me. And yeah, once I add these, I cut the excess off. And I did this, the first bit I already did, because I knew if I cover all of it, it's going to be harder to trim it off. I trimmed this off with the scissors, but I'm going to do that with this trimmer as well, just so that everything is nice and surely straight, because I cannot cut straight to save my life. And so this panel is going to be slightly smaller than the card, which normally when I do slimline cards, I do 3.5 inches by 8.5, unless it's some dies. Some of them are slightly bigger than this, but if I don't use any background die like that, I'll just go with 3.5 by 8.5. And now I'm creating my card base. I added a white cardstock to the background, so I just have some white edge around my panel. And this was about the idea that I had. I did not think further than this, so I had no idea what to do with it. But then, I like to add flowers to everything, so that's what I'm gonna do here as well. And this time, because I have all those colors in the background, I decided to add just white flowers. So I'm die cutting every layer of these flowers from white cardstock, but I think it looks really nice. I really like it. So this particular floral die, I think it was a small die kit last summer, maybe June, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm gonna check and link it in. At least last week it was still available on the website. so you can check. And I used it in a recent video as well. I really like these flowers, simple but really pretty. So here's what I did here. Why I'm gluing layers together is because I first die cut them all from the heavier weight Nina Solar White cardstock, the 110 pound, but I didn't like the way when I shaped the flowers, there were a lot of creases. So I also die cut them again from the 80-pound version, and that was a lot nicer. So I'm using the heavier weight on the bottom. I did not want to throw them away, so I just have 2 layers of everything. But I like the way that turned out. It's actually really sturdy, so I think that would hold up better in the mail as well. So once I added, I actually used one of each flower. There are these 3 types of flowers in that die set, and then a few leaves and a hand, I believe, and that's it. So I'm arranging this cluster here, and that will be pretty much it. So once I figured out how I want to glue this down, I will do just that. And then at this point, I still don't know. I never think about the sentiment. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But eventually, I'm very creative. I'm just going to go again with the, these foiled sentiments strips that I always use and always have on hand. They are just gold foiled, and yeah, it's a really great product to have. I will link that in as well in the description box below. Okay, so I think I finally settled on the arrangement. And then here I actually am considering if I could add a different kind of sentiment, because I didn't want to go with the foiled one. This stamp set here is from the March, what is it called? Clear stamp kit. And yeah, I thought some kind of spring sentiment would be great with this, but also I don't really like to emboss after the card is done. I don't want to ruin anything. So I just went with this safer option here. And yeah, I added some foam tape to the back of that sentiment, and then just added it in the middle, and then this card is done. And now, yeah, I mentioned it before many times, I think. I don't like to waste anything. So yeah, these pieces were quite large to be thrown away, but too small to, to really do much with them. So at this point, I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do, but I just started to glue them down. These bigger pieces, I decided then to die cut again, so I'll just use the same die and then die cut a smaller piece from them. And I just go with the same order of the colors as on the other card. And these die cut pieces are getting smaller and smaller. They cover less and less of that panel, but yeah, I'm not too worried yet. I just kept telling myself, okay, I cannot go smaller than this. It makes no sense. But then I just kept going smaller. Yeah, so the way I arrange these is, as you see, once the wider end is on the left, and then the next one is on the right, just kind of stack them up. And I really like this geometrical look to it. And in fact, here I'm using a white cardstock that I don't like. So I really only use this if I cover it up. But if I had used a nice white one, I might have just left it as you see here, because I really like that random look to it. So I'm finishing up at the top. I did not glue down the last three. First, I wanted to make sure that I can have all three colors. So once I figured out how I managed to do that, it's only then that I glued them down. And now I decided to cut off this panel in the middle where the smallest die cut ended. But I really like the look. I really would have used it that way, to be honest, if it's on the right cardstock. So I cut another panel, and now I'm creating my card base. You can see here the difference in the color of the two whites. So I don't like that gray shade or tone to the paper. So yeah. But the other white cardstock that I'm using here is quite expensive, so I don't like to use it for card base as well. I mean, nobody sees the card base really. Only, you only write text in it, but in that case, it really doesn't matter, I think, what kind of white it is. So, yeah, I decided, surprise, surprise, I decided to add more flowers. And I wasn't quite sure how, but then I decided to die cut a lot of them, but only one of the flowers, so not all three designs, just this one. And this time I'm only doing one layer. And so I'm gonna glue, I think it was altogether 7, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just going to glue them down in the middle, just between or where the white cardstock meets the colored one. And here I have to start thinking about sentiment as well, because I really did not want to add another foiled sentiment. So I'm trying to use this stamp from the Easter stamp set that I just showed you before, and I'm embossing this in gold. This is a Wow embossing powder, pale, rich pale. Now I don't remember the name. All of a sudden, it's actually my most used embossing powder. Yeah, I will link it in the description box below. I'm super bad with names, so there will. And now that I added that panel, it's actually the two sides are now the same level, because earlier, obviously, with the die cuts on the left, that side was a bit higher. So it's easier to glue down the flowers now as well. So once I lined them up and decided how they should be, I glued them down using liquid glue. And all that's left, well, actually one of the two things, is adding some of these leaves as well. There's two sizes, as you can see. There's a larger and a smaller leaf. I use both of them just to to create some variation, or it's not so symmetrical, all of it. And yeah, this is the last thing I do. If you know my work, then you know how much I love enamel dots. So I try to pull out ones that were the same colors and then added one of each. All right, so there you have it. Some ideas with these slices, and I will have more coming up as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the projects, and I see you next time. Bye bye.